if you've ever logged or pulled the stumps out, the roots, that's one heck of a job. And that's what these people are. They're the ones that are going to be stable and going to be there. Like say that ride from last week, that tree's been there 35 years. Hey, good morning, Matt.
Morning, Zane.
Oh, man. We were just talking, lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
I
sir.
Wake up every morning with gratitude, just thinking, hey, my legs work, my hands work, my eyes work. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, Lord. Anyway, I heard an analogy the other day I really liked and I wanted to share. And I think it ties into a lot of what we've been talking about. And it talked about 3 types of people that will come into your lives. Or your life. And maybe it's 3 types of friends, but it relates to a tree, if you will. And so the first type of person is a leaf. And we all know what a leaf is, but as a person, a leaf is, they're that person that's, they're really popular, they're gregarious, they can get along with anyone. They're probably the people that are into the latest and the greatest, they're always on the cutting edge. Because a leaf is, it's not that stable. It's going to be blown around in the wind. It's going to move with different seasons. It's going to change. And we've all had people like that come into our lives. The thing about a leaf is they go away, The fall or the winter, a big wind comes along and the leaf's gone. And that's a good description of people, certain people that come into our lives. And we don't want to put too much responsibility on them, too much emphasis on them, too much really, and I guess too much trust in them, because they're probably going to be gone. We know they're not in our lives for a long period of time. Now that doesn't mean we don't want leaves as friends, because they're fun to be around. They're the popular people, but they're not real anchored. They're not going to be stable, just like if you go to grab a leaf off a tree, you can, pull it off with a couple fingers. So leaves, while they're good to have in the life, we don't want to fill our lives with them or put too much emphasis or responsibility on them. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And the second type of person that, would come into our life and maybe they're friends or business partners, whatever, we can call them a branch. Okay. So branches, if you kind of limit your responsibility with them or limit what you expect of them. If you stay with the branch real close to the tree torso, the main body of the tree, you can stand on them. You can you can trust them. You can expect that tree branch to support your weight or support you, to be very trustworthy, if you will. But the further out that branch you get, the more it starts to give you a little I leaned on it and that branch kind of gave a little bit. And you've got these people that, and we all know who, we can quite easily go, oh yeah, whatever, Susie or Bob or Lee, he's a branch, someone that they're pretty good to have around. You can usually trust them. You can usually give them a responsibility or expect to take some responsibility from them. But the more you go, you just don't know when that branch is going to break.
Right.
You don't know when that branch is going to give way and let you down, if you will. And you're going to, if you've climbed the tree, if you're on those branches, you're in trouble because you're going to fall.
Right.
And so again, that's not to put anyone down. That's not to say, hey, if you identify some of the people in your life as branches, just understand who they are and where they are.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and very similar to leaf. Like, look, we all have leaves in our lives. We all have branches in our lives. We just need to know kind of who we're dealing with. You're never, ever going to put any load on a leaf. And you can put some on a branch, but you don't want to get crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more, the reason we're having this discussion, the reason I have these discussions in my gatherings is to make sure that you're not filling your entire life with leaves. Even though they're the fun people, they're fun, at a party, you want to talk to a leaf because they're fun, they know everybody, but they're going to be off to the next group. When a wind comes, they're going to, maybe their career's going to change, whatever. Anyway, so you've got leaves. you've got branches. And this isn't saying, again, to not have these people. The third one, these are the roots. The roots are the foundation, the base. The roots are the people that are going to be there through thick and thin, no matter what. They're the people that, the roots are what support everything. They support the tree, they support the branches, they support the leaves. The roots, I'm going to suggest to you, are the people that you want to search out. They're the kind of friends that when you call a friend a root, they're some, or you liken them to a root. They're someone that maybe you get busy raising kids, building businesses, whatever. You haven't seen them in 5 or 10 years. And yet you know what you're going to get from them as soon as you call them. Right. As soon as you run into them, it's going to be just like you haven't missed a day. And they're going to be very solid. They're going to be doing things that are worthwhile. They're going to be committed to things. They're not going to be into the latest and, the crazy investment scheme or the get rich quick, something like that. That's what the leaves do. The roots are the people that are going to be there through thick and thin. And, again, if you get back in touch with them or run into them somewhere, you can just jump right back into a conversation as if you never missed. I think about it, I've got these places that I go on my adventure bikes and out in trails and wilderness and stuff. And there's certain trees that I always look forward to seeing, whether it's a big stand of oak trees or whatever, cottonwood trees, but they're always there. You can go 15, 20 years. I went a ride the other day, and I hadn't been to a place in, my Lord, probably when I was 30 years old, like 150 years ago or something, And yet here was the same tree that we stopped for shade. Here was the tree that we stopped at. And I stopped and actually got a little emotional because I'm like, this tree's still here. And that's when I started thinking about what I wanted to talk about. I'm like, the roots of this tree has seen some change. There's been challenges. Maybe there's been forest fires. Maybe there's been, lightning strikes. There's been all these things. This tree's still here because of the roots. And so when I relate that to, different types of people, that's me looking out at whether they're friends or potential business partners, whatever. But then I say, okay, wait a minute. Let's stop. Let's self-evaluate. What am I? And what do I want to work on? What do I want to become? What do I want to, how am I going to build my legacy if I'm a leaf? If I'm bouncing around, flitting from place to place, any kind of wind comes up, any kind of new idea comes up, and phew, I'm gone. That's probably not what I want to be. So if I find myself, if I self-evaluate and say, you know what, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I'm a leaf, Well, do I want to be a leaf forever? Maybe it's fine. Maybe going through school, everybody wants to be the popular kid, that kind of thing. And we want to be on the cutting edge. But do we want to build something as a leaf? And so if I self-evaluate and I realize, you know what, last couple of years or whatever, last couple of months, I've been a leaf. Let's work on maybe becoming a branch, maybe with aspirations of becoming the roots, the person that someone can depend on. Like if you want to change a root, if you want to pull if you've ever logged or pulled the stumps out, the roots, that's one heck of a job. And that's what these people are. They're the ones that are going to be stable and going to be there. Like say from that ride from last week, that tree's been there 35 years. I would love to be known as, the roots, the foundation that's not going to change, that's not going to go anywhere. And then when we have our gatherings, we get together with other roots and talk about building legacies. It's astounding the ideas that get shared and the people that we're around. And I'm like, this is the core. These are the people I want to be around. And again, that's not to say it's bad to have branches or leaves in your life, but when we've got roots in our life, it's just something you can trust. It's something you can fall back on. When I have a challenge, if I have a difficulty, if I have frustration, who am I going to call?
Not the leaf.
No, not the branch. I had one the other day. Well, actually, it was a couple months ago. I had occasion, I was going to be speaking in Chicago, and I called a friend, actually, I call him a legacy builder. He's one of what I call my people. I put him in practice, my gosh, a long time ago, 18 years ago or something. I didn't realize. I called him. We fell right into conversation, but I didn't realize. Then we stopped, and he said, we haven't talked in 11 years. And it was astounding that we just got right back. I was talking to him about things that I knew were important to him. He brought up stuff. He remembered things about me. And I'm like, this guy he's roots, man. He's somebody that was 11 years ago that I had, or 11 years that I hadn't spoken to him. I thought, this could be 20 or 30 years. And I just realized when I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful. It's like, I'm very grateful for having people like that in my life. And then I want to turn it around and say, that's the kind of person I want to be as well. And so not just seeking out other solid people to give me good ideas and give me strength and give me courage and support me, but to reach out and say, okay, I'm one of those people that can be trusted. I'm one of those people that's not going to be moved by the latest and the greatest. I'm not going to let a wind blow me from side to side or even blow me away. I'm going to be there for people if they reach out for me.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It was powerful for me, and seeing that tree. Geez, I get a little emotional. I hadn't seen it in 35 years. It makes no sense why it's so emotional, but to me it was. To see that tree, it was like, that's an immovable object. It's going to be there for a long time. And I would like to challenge people and say, listen, if you don't have roots in your life, seek them out. Come to our gatherings, because you're going to meet roots there. And I'm just full of gratitude that I have so many of those people in my life. And like I say, I hope that I'm building that life that I can be a root for other people as well.
That's beautiful.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, sir.